Every guitarist should have a strange, nondescript box to store their guitar tools in. Mine happens to be from the Season 5 Office DVD set. As a guitarist, you don't need a lot of tools, but thick wire cutters and steel winders come in handy, along with some Allen wrenches. I decided that I wanted to do a pickup swap on my guitar. The search for guitar tone is eternal and ever-evolving. It almost takes as much time as actually playing the guitar. I started by taking my strings off and opening pinkasaurus up to see how the wiring looked. I wasn't completely sure what I would find. Pinkasaurus is a budget Dean that I've had since 2007. I drew those dinosaur stickers. For the new pickup, I went with a Seymour Duncan jazz humbucker. As I've matured, I try to have the cleanest guitar and amp sound and then add color with pedals. The Dean has always been fairly clean, and that has shaped how I approach tone. Pinkasaurus has some gnarly, tacky finish on the inside of the body. I've known this from changing the strings over the years. Sometimes the ends can get stuck and need to be shoved out with an Allen wrench. This seems to be a thing on cheaper guitars. I just had to teach my friend's kid this method on his guitar for his first string change. I figured out which wires belonged to the neck pickup. Luckily, the two pickups had different colored wires, so that made it pretty easy. The wiring for pickups is both simple and a little intimidating in that it's a pretty tight space, and if anything is wired incorrectly, you know there will be problems and your guitar will not play. I think that right now is a perfect time for me to attempt this mod. Any sooner and I wouldn't have had the correct level of confidence needed. As Julia Child would say, you need to be fearless when attempting this. I was 16 when I got it and bought it 100% for aesthetics. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but what can I say? I was a teenager. I'd been playing a Brown Squire as my starter guitar for a couple years before that, and it had issues with the input jack that I could probably fix now. But back then, I didn't know any better, so I was looking for both a functional guitar and something that was a little bit more jazzy. The Seymour Duncan pickups come with a Fritzing-style graphical wiring diagram. There are additional diagrams available on their website as well if you have a funkier guitar. I was glad that they included a paper version because it was nice and big compared to if I'd had to look at my phone. The desoldering of the original pickup went pretty smoothly, but it was hard to see in my guitar because it was so tight and the black coating doesn't allow for easy visibility. It took a bit for me to figure out that the neck pickup's wires travel through the bridge pickup's slot. But once I figured that out, I was able to get the wires routed through the holes. Of the 5 wires on the new pickup, only 2 were actually needed for my setup. I wrapped the rest in heat shrink. These shots are mostly hair, and I apologize for that, but it was so hard to see, even pulling a light directly over the guitar body. I kind of felt like I was kind of poking the soldering iron in and hoping for the best at some points. I had to use a chisel to widen the pickup's hole. This is not the first modification Pinkasaurus has seen that's like this. If you saw the locking tuner install video, you'll remember I had to drill holes in the headstock to accommodate those new tuning pegs. Fitting the pickup into the mount with the springs was super annoying. Once it was done, though, the rest was easy. The distance between the pickup and the strings affects tone, so I was careful to check the height. I have my old practice amp in my work area, and I use that to test. I was impressed that the amp worked, because it has spent a lot of time in a car trunk. I had 2 spare strings that I put on my guitar quickly, and I was equally excited and relieved that sound was coming through on both pickups, meaning that I hadn't ruined anything. I filmed this demo back in January with the original pickup. That's how long this project has been brewing, just so I could have a little bit of a sound comparison between the two. Almost Ready by Dinosaur Jr. is one of my favorite riffs to play, probably because Beyond came out around the time that I started to get more serious about the guitar. I feel like actually it came out in 2007, so it all tracks. And then of course some clean open chords. And here is the new pickup. First, again, Almost Ready. And then Seven Nation Army, first song I ever learned how to play. Some clean chords. And American Idiot. I played along with that album constantly back in the day. After this, I actually listened to the album for the first time in a while. I'm proud to say I still know all the words to every single song. I'm admittedly a little rusty in my playing. I haven't been as regularly guitaring as I had been previously, but I really love the tone of this pickup. Is it much different than my stock pickups? I'll have to listen. That's not really what the point is, though. I just kind of wanted to upgrade my guitar, and I did. I think it sounds a little bit clearer, and just has kind of a better overall tone and a little better sustain than the stock pickup. But that may also just be me being like, oh yeah, it sounds different, definitely. Because everyone gets guitar ear sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, I did something different, so it sounds totally different, even though it doesn't actually sound different. I think, though, we can all agree that the washi tape on the guitar headstock is an excellent decision. So overall, I'm happy. I will probably eventually swap out the bridge pickup for the matching jazz pickup, but until then, this is What's the DIY. I'm gonna go do some scales because I need to.